How did you use new media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? When creating my poster, it was crucial for me to use the most beneficial facilities that were available to me. These in most cases were technology-based solutions. For my research, I looked at several existing posters so that I could discover what conventions were most popular and how I could mimic them to make my poster look as realistic as possible. I did this research by using the internet and Microsoft Word to write up my findings. I also created a questionnaire in Word so I could get an understanding of what people wanted. After this, I made some charts so that I could analyse my results more easily. Once I got to the construction stage of my poster, I needed a main image. For this, I used a digital camera. Once the picture was taken, I uploaded it to the iMac and opened it into Photoshop. I manipulated the image by making it darker in order to improve its appearance. I did this by putting a layer of black over the image and taking its opacity down. I then began to look for what my main font would be. I did this by searching the internet and coming across a site called dafont.com. Once here I found Nightmare 5 and decided that this would be the one to use for my cross-media package. The other less dominant fonts I used were Baskerville, Frankendork and Steel Tongs. I used Steel Tongs for the billing information that I placed at the bottom of the page. The software Photoshop made the whole creation process much easier as it has many functions and facilities to use, which enabled me to make my poster look much more professional. Once my poster had been created, I uploaded it onto the website WordPress so that it could be marked and evaluated. To get feedback on it so I could make improvements, I uploaded it onto Facebook to get feedback from my friends. For the trailer, I studied trailers for other films before I started on mine. I used the website YouTube to view them and Microsoft Word to write up about them. When I filmed my trailer, I used a Flip Ultra HD video camera and a tripod. This ensured that I would get high quality footage filmed steadily. During my first filming, I tried to do it at night time, however this resulted in my footage being too dark and unclear, so I had to refilm a lot of footage at about dusk. This made the new footage a higher quality. After the filming had taken place, I uploaded all of my capture footage onto Final Cut Express and began to pick out the best bits. Once I had placed it together, I started to add transitions to make it look more professional. I used crossed fades, cuts, fade-ins and fade-outs. The footage still wasn't exactly the way I wanted. It was too light, but at least this time it was clear. So I used a video filter in the image control section called Levels. This enabled me to adjust the footage and make it seem darker than it actually was, so I stayed to the conventions of my genre. The last visual thing to add to my trailer was the text slides. I created these using Photoshop and made sure that I kept to the same fonts and logos I had used in my other products. This was easily done using the technologies on offer, as I just copied the files and changed the bits that I needed. I then required a soundtrack for my trailer, so I imported the video file into a recording software called Logic Pro. In this software I could use a combination of existing loops and software instruments to create a soundtrack that would enhance my trailer. This made creating music much easier than having to record real instruments or use already existing music that wouldn't necessarily match my trailer in a good way. I then tried to place a voiceover on my trailer with a Samson CO1U USB microphone. Unfortunately, this didn't really work with the feel of my trailer, as it took away from the suspense of the music and made the entire thing seem quite amateur. Finally, once I had done this, I uploaded my trailer onto YouTube so that I could submit it to WordPress and get feedback on the internet from people around the world. Therefore, the new media technologies I used were incredibly helpful, as they gave me the chance to film, edit, upload, and put it on a platform that lets me share it with the world so I can receive advice and criticism. Before making my website, I realised it would be beneficial for me to analyse existing websites so that I could get an idea of what layouts and features were successful with my target audience. I did this by using Safari to visit their web pages and Microsoft Word to write up about what I had discovered. My main image was the same I had used for my poster, so that it ensured I was creating an entire cross-media package with a house style. I did however manipulate it in a different way. I again imported it into Photoshop and made it much darker. I then faded out its edges so it smoothly merged into its black background. Then I placed my text around the image using the fonts I had previously downloaded. I altered their blending options by giving them an eerie glow to add to the effect of my website. After I'd done everything in Photoshop, the trailer was attached to it and the links became clickable. This was all done in a software called Dreamweaver. I then uploaded it onto WordPress so that it could be marked and feedback could be received. I also posted it onto Facebook so that people from my target audience of 13 to 18 year olds could directly give me feedback.